So for the first few months when I started posting on YouTube, nobody really cared. I was uploading videos, trying different ideas, spending hours thinking about content, and then I'd post a video to get 3 views. No momentum, no subscribers, and definitely no algorithm push. At that stage, it kind of messes with your head because you're thinking, am I even made for this, or is this for somebody else? But then I realized something. Most creators don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they quit when YouTube doesn't know what they're doing, and definitely doesn't know who they are. And after making a few changes, it started switching a little bit. So in this video, I want to share everything that I've learned along the way to start getting some momentum. Lesson 1 is being a better storyteller. Now, I've never been the guy that's super interesting at a party. I've never been the person that people are just listening to like I'm some sort of god or anything. But for YouTube, when you share something that you're super passionate about, it kind of changes who you are because you're just passionate about something. When I talk about some sports that I've been doing or anything, I tend to be more interesting than if I start talking about some random subject that I don't care about. So when you become a little bit better and more comfortable on camera, especially more comfortable, you start talking about subjects or talking to somebody rather than at an object that you don't really like, an iPhone, which is what I'm filming on. And so I think storytelling comes with practice. It just becomes easier to do. You become better at it. And there's still some things that you need to improve all the time, even the best storytellers of this world. But after practice, it just comes with it, and you start becoming better and more comfortable about talking about a certain subject that you care about. In fact, I got a comment that I just saw about 2 hours ago that said that my storytelling had become better. And I really appreciated that because it's something that I wasn't really talented at when I was younger, and especially with that confidence problem that I had, years ago when my confidence was at its lowest. When you start telling stories and being more interesting and putting your own things that happened in your own life in those stories, you become more interesting. People are naturally drawn to stories rather than just some random facts that you talk about. The next thing is build credibility even with no audience. So what I mean by that is I first started this channel, I had nothing. I was just starting this YouTube project that I had, talking about YouTube, which I didn't know anything about. I had watched a few videos, but really you don't know much until you've actually started doing that. But once you've posted your first video, you're ahead of the people that didn't post their first video or haven't posted their first video. And then once you get 1 subscriber, you're ahead of the people that got 0 subscribers. And I had this comment recently today that I just saw, which was a very long comment, very thought through. And he said that the problem that I had was talking about a subject that I didn't really know about, meaning that I was only getting a couple hundred views, or maybe 100 views, or less than that in some cases. And so I wasn't an expert. And by the way, this wasn't a hateful comment. I get hateful comments all the time. This was not the case. This was really a very thought through comment that was telling me the things that were great and weren't as great, which I really appreciated. It wasn't a hate comment at all. So, and I can recognize those. And he said that one of the things that was good about my channel was the analytic videos. So on this channel, if you're new, I used to post these analytics videos, which I showed my analytics. I said what I was super happy about and what I wasn't happy about, and the views that I was getting, the comments that I was getting, all of that stuff. And I stopped doing that because I thought it wasn't really relevant. I wanted to steer my YouTube channel in a direction where I was more focused on teaching what I was learning on YouTube rather than just showing my analytics. And so I did that, and in fact, my views did get a bit better since then. My views have been growing, and my subscriber count has been growing also. But when I saw that comment, it really made me think, because maybe if one person comments that whole situation of that was a good thing about my channel, and then somebody else replied that yes, it was a good thing and that comment was right. So instead of being super negative and thinking, oh, they don't like the thing that I'm doing, or it kind of hits your ego a little bit, even though that comment again was very nice. It wasn't, because when I get hateful comments, it doesn't really affect me, but that was not the case. It was really a good one. So I thought about it, I've been thinking about it, and I thought that, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to do these videos, but on top of that, I'm going to post more analytic videos, or I'm going to come back to analytic videos. So I think it's a good thing build build something that people are interested in and want to watch, which was the point of this comment. And I'm going to show my analytics now. I'm not going to do it every single week like I used to, but maybe once a month, to show the progress that I've been making, or not, but hopefully at least in a month I should be making some progress, and say what's on my mind. I think that it can help people, because that's the goal of this channel, is not only to talk about a subject that I really like, but also to help people that's behind, or not behind me in a bad sense, but maybe earlier in the process. And maybe they are thinking that they're getting 5 views, so it's not a good thing, or that they're failing on YouTube. And if they see that after getting 100 views or 100 subscribers, maybe I'm not, this is just a normal journey, then it might help. So if you posted that comment, thank you. I really did appreciate it, and I can recognize a hateful comment from one that, even if it's disguised as not one. And it really, it made me think I'm going to start doing more analytic videos. At least try to do them once a month. So all of this to say that if people are posting comments, thoughtful comments that are really helping you on your channel, you might decide that some things are not good and you don't want to change it. Like, some people have been telling me that I should edit way more and put all sorts of effects, which I don't want to do. But there's some other things like this one, which was analytic videos were good, you should bring them back, and I'm going to bring them back. Not as often as I used to, because I don't want my channel to be all around that. But I post videos twice a week, and I'll probably post an analytics videos on Friday, so a third one every month, let's say. So I'm going to try and do that, but that's just because I'm getting comments, and building credibility also brings that sort of thing into place. If you don't read comments, you don't take them into account, it's not going to help you grow your channel. And even if my channel could grow faster, I've seen people that had subject that they didn't know anything about and just blew up overnight on YouTube. And I think that's good for them, but it also proves that it's possible to do that. In fact, I spoke to some people that built YouTube channels about growing YouTube channels where they had never grown a YouTube channel before, but because they put out good videos, it started working for them. The next thing is your unfair advantage. So I heard about this a whole lot, and especially making YouTube videos about YouTube, which I don't know much about when I first started, but you learn along the way. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, and I think an unfair advantage can be different to other people. It's just an advantage that most people don't have. So for me, I started showing my analytic videos right from the get-go. When I first started, I made a video about what this YouTube videos or this YouTube channel was going to be like and what I want to achieve with it. And also I started sharing my analytics. So that's sort of an unfair advantage. There's lots of other things that you might not see, but I think the most important one is something that everyone has in a different way, and that's their own stories. Why did you start on YouTube? Why did this subject get you passionate about? So if you're making uh, YouTube videos about music, then you should probably tell people why you got into music, how you started getting into music, how you learned this or that specific thing. Because people will be drawn to that, will be connected to somebody who shares their own stories, their own insecurities. And most people, when they hear insecurities, it's a bad thing. But on YouTube, it's actually an unfair advantage. It's something that you can just tell people about and just grow up and to help build a connection. I've seen somebody that started on YouTube, didn't know anything about YouTube, but they were also a teacher, so they had that advantage of being a teacher, and then they got fired from their jobs and they started doing a YouTube channel and blew up, and their channel has a great success. So their unfair advantage was also being a teacher. It was also telling people that they just started YouTube and were learning. They had great work ethic, which I think I have some part of that, because I am managing to post every week, twice a week at least. And that's also an unfair advantage. If you can get yourself to post videos all the time, whether it's once a week, twice a week, never miss a day, then it's probably going to be an unfair advantage for you. So I think you really need to figure out what your advantage is, and you can share that on YouTube. So I've seen people that say that you should set realistic expectations. And there's some truth to that, but I think it really depends on who you are, what you want to do. For me, realistic it doesn't motivate me. So if I set out my YouTube channel to post videos and have 100 subscribers in a year, it would be really tough for me to stay consistent. Instead, I wanted to be monetized in a year. I didn't manage, but I still managed to post every single day and managed to pass that phase where you're not getting any views. And even though I'm not getting 5,000 views per video, that's okay, because I can see that I'm growing. But if I sit out and I set realistic expectations where I wanted to get 50 views per video in a year, maybe get 70 or 50 subscribers, like that wouldn't really motivate me. Instead, I wanted to blow up, get monetized, inspire a ton of people. And even though I didn't get monetized, even though I didn't get 1,000 subscribers, even though all of these things didn't happen and I wasn't able to help people on a one-to-one basis, or people didn't even ask for me to help them, that's okay, because I started off having a big goal and I worked this way and started to just enjoy sharing the process on YouTube, enjoy sharing my stories, what I'm learning on YouTube, what I like to do, what my insecurities were, and all of that stuff, and improving the sound of my videos, improving my speech. All of these things are things that you just tend to find once you start doing the thing. And so realistic expectations for me if you're not tied up too hard into it and you put the maximum effort into trying to do something that's maybe unachievable. Maybe your goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers in a year. Some people have done it, why not you? And if you don't manage and you only get 50 subscribers in a year, that's okay, you still got those 50 subscribers. But if you want to get 50 subscribers and you only get 20, then, you know, it was realistic, yes, and you still didn't make it, not great. So if you set something unrealistic and you don't achieve it and it doesn't affect you too much, which I think is a part of that. In fact, I made a whole YouTube video about why you should keep posting even if you get very little views, which I posted right here and you can check out. It actually did quite well, so I'm sure it's going to help you if you're in that stage. With that said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.